Yes, I is. What up, family? Peace and blessings. It's your brother, your man, with his ear to the street, bringing you that kingdom image. That kingdom image. Why? Because without that knowledge of self and moving in that higher, in your higher self, family, we're going to stay entangled with the world. We're going to stay entangled with all the bull crap they dishing out, family. It don't make no sense what I see going on, especially with this reparations. Yes, push for reparations, my people. Push, push. By all means, push, push. Let's understand at the same damn time. Here. Let's get some understanding as a people. Now I'm listening to everybody with their assessment on what they think. Bam. So it is my duty to speak on these matters because I would not have my people to be ignorant and wasting our time when we don't have to just do one thing. Yes, we're pushing for black empowerment. And I see the new grassroots black media all over. Kudos to them brothers and sisters and all uh, front line. Whether it be no matter what your faith, they all coming together under one cause. And that's the common cause of black empowerment. Now, they are hot where they at. They standing on this reparations issue, but there's a lot I believe need to be tweaked with that. But I'm gonna leave that alone, and I'm gonna stick to focusing on what we do, what I do have, and I'm gonna share it with you because that's how I overcome the world. I don't worry about them and what the government doing or what some company doing. Why? Because I understand ownership. A lot of us, I don't believe we understand ownership in the sense that how important it is to own and operate your own business and how you get there. Because a lot of people will go and get a loan, which is the topic of my conversation tonight. Because even in getting a loan, we have to realize somebody is playing a role of financier, which he is the owner. And then you have a borrower. He becomes the servant to the lender. But all the while, what we missing is the fact that we don't own and control collectively. Yes, a lot of us own businesses. And a lot of us under the false pretense that we own business and we don't. Because why? You don't own the finances that it took to start the business. A lot of people don't want to hear that. But that is a hindrance. All the people that this government does business with, think about it. It's quid pro quo voting. It's quid pro quo. Vote for me, and I'm gonna do something for you. But as a collective, that's even approaching the reparations issue. If you're to push for it, we have to come together collectively because why? You're going against a system. And to have that system out front pretending to push for them reparations is not gonna work, family. It ain't gonna work. No one's here, sadly. I got a lot of people that listen to my messages. You here? I ain't trying to promote to everybody.
I don't know whose sock this is, but get it out.
That's mine. I mean, that came out the basement. I thought it was yours. Okay, it don't matter. Leave it alone. It don't matter. I thought it probably yours. That's why I brought it up here. Throw it away if it ain't. Thank you. Yeah, what's this? Chubbo. No, Chubbo. You ain't gonna see a lot of people here, over here like that. But trust me, it makes its rounds. This is not one of those YouTube spots where you gonna find a YouTuber that's chasing algorithm from YouTube. No, bro. These the chosen, the set apart people over here. And whether I got 20 or 30 followers, it don't matter because the purpose is to be a voice. I'm a messenger. You know what I'm saying? That voice for Yahuwah. I don't care about what's going on in the world other than the fact that praying and hoping that this word get to them so they too can overcome the world. Like what I'm talking about with the government. Yes, if you doing business, ain't nothing wrong with doing business with the government. Live peaceably with them. But there is a flip side to that. Because our people not seem to understand. Yes, push for everything they owe. We coming for everything they owe. I love that song. Tupac. Everything they owe. That is a dope song, family. And that song speaks to our reality. But at the same time, as a people, if we want all these questions, getting the government involved in security, financial security, job security, health security, your social life, whatever you got going on, vacationing, and all the in-betweens in these subjects. If you solely depend on the government, then think about it. This government gets lobbied to vote a certain way and to pass policies a certain way. Do you understand what being lobbied means? That means somebody's buying off your politician, in short. But it seems to be the way America do business. So if you as a group want to establish that power for yourself, if you want that power where you'll get the government to listen to you and the concerns of your people, you have to own and operate the businesses that the government does business with. Then you got to recognize how they do business. They're not doing business in a sense where it's the government providing the money because the government don't have no money. So they look to creditors, lenders. You don't know who those lenders are. And think about it. That affects every aspect of society, of this community, this what's that word I'm looking for? It'll come to me. But this affects every aspect of life. If the so-called Negro start coming together, pool our resources under one roof, that creates a banking system. You don't need the government or an institution to tell you that when 5 of us, they got a thing called group investment. It works, I promise you. Even a drug dealer know that. If me and my homies put up half the money, a quarter of the money, all pitch in and go buy us a bunch of weed, we could take that weed and multiply it. A criminal know that. You mean tell me a person that been to school and so-called educated don't know this? This is law, natural law. Me and you put on, share the price, and enjoy the profits together. It's common. People go in business like that every day outside the government. So once we do establish what we need to establish, business, medical, our schools and things, we can put the money to have these things built and create our own community. First, create that one body. then we got to get to the bread because it's going to take bread to facilitate. And it ain't something we need to be thinking about. It's something we have to do. That's how you can force the government to do business with you. If you don't have no money and you just voting, they not going to listen to you. They have lenders. Look at APAC. APAC came and ran commercials. We haven't seen one APAC member say nothing, but they running commercials where they are plotting on taking out members of the CBC, Congressional Black Caucus. Who is APAC? Do your research. But the point is, APAC is multinational because it consists of all racial groups. I don't know if you got black folk in there, but I'm quite sure you do. Well, anyway, APAC used its money to lobby to get people who doesn't sympathize with what's going on in their respective, countries. So as a group, we have to recognize that we're looking at it through the spirit of it, which it should be. Okay, the government should just instinctively, because it's guided by what? The law. It's guided by, love ain't got nothing to do with it if you don't know nothing about love. It's guided by justice. We need a system of justice that's for everybody, not just for the lobbyists. And how do you create it? You don't go to them to create it. You create it through your people. We've been doing it. You talking about drug dealers. Them drug dealers came together to create financial means so they can pay bills, put food on the table, put clothes on their back. Now, were they justified in what they did? If they were out there hurting people, hell no. But if you're doing what you got to do to get up, you do it for a while, you get up and you go. But you don't hurt people. That don't justify that you don't hurt nobody, because you shouldn't be selling no destructive drugs, no way. Which is my point. We need to come together and doing business together and power. That multiplies. You want to see physics. That multiplies our money. That gives us power. Then we running our community how we supposed to run it. We putting the money behind it. And we equally all. We are all. It's just not for a few of us. This is for us. You're going to have to, or like Dr. Claude Anderson said, you're going to become, I don't care how many cars a rapper able to buy, how many homes. You still broke. When the shit hit the fan, when these other nations start bombing this mother, which they going to strike this motherfucker. You think America is going to continue to go around the world and create all the mayhem and havoc and mayhem and you going to sit your ass over here with your feet kicked up, twinkling your toes? Get ready. I'm a realist, family. I'm from my mama's womb. God sent me here through my daddy, but I understand something about the politics of the streets. Trust me, there's a system that's in place. It works. But where our people get jammed up, family, is because we don't provide it per se. And if you don't provide it per se, you don't get to control nothing. And when I notice the government give the Jewish people reparations. We didn't do nothing to the Jewish people. But because America want to be friends with those who they can get money from and make money, the government want to make money too. They're not going to tell you everything. Some of these things you should know instinctively, family. Especially y'all that's from the block. We know. A lot of our people went to school, so they go along with the system. They know the system. They not connected to the streets, and the streets ain't trying to hear that shit. The system's talking about. It's the streets they trying to reach. They got y'all. Y'all trust them for everything. So think about it. You already inaugurated. We don't need you. And think about it. It was the streets that brought the reparations to the table. It wasn't the informal way. Oh, we vote, we talk. They would have never talked about it. Democrats still talking about what they did, and they ain't showed no receipts for nothing. But I can give you a bunch of receipts of what they did for others right in the midst of us. And my foundation is what I tell you is biblical. We are biblical people. Our rulership is not going to look like what the government is offering. And no matter who you are, don't be delusioned because you can go through the system, you can get the loan. Once you get that, that's cool. But understand, it's two sides to that. Now you giving up your rulership. You can't own nothing. They gonna own your ass, and they gonna put you on the clock, which provides more business for them because whatever essentials you need, now they got you tied into what? The credit system. Even if you buy a home, if you don't buy it flat out, you got to get some credit. So you forced to come into yokes. I call that yokes of bondage because if me and my brother take our money, our dollars, and go put it, we know how to make that dollar, turn that dollar 3-4 times. You know what I'm saying? We know how to double up. Thank you. Thank you for liking. Thank you, y'all. Thank you. I appreciate that. First time I got a like. I must be saying something right. But yeah, yes, the government should pay reparations. Why? Because the laws that were on the books they passed ensured the enslavement of your ancestors. And under that system, same system that's in place. Let me get my Black's Law Dictionary out. I don't want to just be talking. I don't want y'all to think I'm just talking or saying something I don't know or I didn't study, don't have no understanding about. You know, you got a lot of people that's so-called woke, doing a lot of talking. You know, and I understand people know how to put teams together, do research, pay people to, do things. But no, everything I talk about, I do my own leg work. I'm gonna teach you because this is something I know. This is something that I was moved in the spirit to do. Once you come into the knowledge of truth, family, you start learning legalities because you want to know the law. To know the law is to understand how things operate. America operates on maritime law, family. Maritime law. The law of the seas. They don't control the land, but they control commerce. That law from the sea transcend onto the land. Contracts through contracts. So you got to understand. I only understand so much. I'm not, this big guru that know a lot, but I read so I will know what I'm dealing with, family. Now, if we don't, long story short, if we don't put the money up ourselves to ignite, to facilitate what we desire to see for ourselves in our generations right now, which we have the chance, because right now, 5 or 10 of us can group up. Like I got two businesses, automotive technology and retail. Okay. Say it's certain aspects in the automotive technology perspective, automotive repair. We're going to tires, service. You got tires, you got engine, you got trans, you got wheels. You got all kinds of services you can offer and products you can sell. Well, there go your team right there. There go jobs for your people and there go ownership. Somebody has to own. That's how the government do business. If you're doing business, you do business through contract. You got these contracts setting up all these businesses. Who do you think they're going to give these when it's time? Okay, they looking like, who can we make money with? Oh, this group over here creating this business. Okay, and they have multiple. When Kanye did that research to show you who owns who, that man wasn't lying. The Hebrews knew that before he got to talking about it. We've been talking about this for years. It was some forerunners before us. Then a bunch of us in 2008, 2009, on up to 2015 started awakening. Then you had another run in 2019, 2020, 2021, still to this day. But we know who owns. We're not delusioned at all. So that's why, and y'all heard me say this a lot, that's why the government give reparations to certain groups and give things. Like with Ukraine, it's a reason they doing business. Why? Because Ukraine got mineral resources. America don't produce shit. Nothing. So they need, they probably in there doing, their scientific thing and other little things they got going on, but mineral resources to power these things, these second nature things that they doing. you know what I'm saying? No gold. Where you gonna get the like with diamonds? Use diamonds to make things that's hard to drill. You can make things you can use to drill, cut through, to cut with. Well, America don't produce diamonds out of this ground. It don't have no diamonds. So it has to do business with Africa. So while people griping on Africa, Venezuela, case in point, Venezuela just joined BRICS too. They are expected to be a member of BRICS if they're not already. Well, Venezuela is the second largest oil producer on earth. I think Africa got them all beat. They just don't name Africa for whatever reason. I don't know, but they've been stealing oil out of there. All of them been stealing oil out of there before we was here. So we been at war. It's not no, hey, Dave, open the door. I just heard the little brother and the European guy who was speaking on why black people barely own the Shonda at Large show. She brought out a video about, what people are really saying about, because you're hearing a lot about why do we have to pay reparations? Why do you have, because the 13th Amendment. Have you ever read this thing? Have you ever read the Constitution? Do you know why they even created the 13th Amendment? Have you ever took the time to sit down and read to understand that? No, you haven't. You couldn't have if you coming back saying what you saying, but that shit won't hold weight. But my point is, they're gonna pay them reparations. Black people, you have to own and operate, and when you own and then control and operate through a system of justice, the government gonna want to do business with you, and that's how you own and control their ass and get them to do what you want them to do. Bread, you got to give them their daily bread. All these other groups, y'all hear us talk about, oh well, this group doing it, this group paying, like they said, they used to call us Russian bots, the people who online posting about the reality of certain aspects of true information. Yes. The 13th Amendment deals with what? The enslavement of the so-called Negro. And people want to, like that gentleman there, who the sister hosting, the European fellow and the young Negro guy. You want to go off into conjectures in your feelings, but are you reading the 13th Amendment? Do you understand the language that you are using? They passed that. Why? Let's read it. Neither slave, section 1. 13th Amendment. It was written in 1865. It was 1865. They also passed, Lincoln passed what? Lincoln introduced the Emancipation Proclamation. And it was passed. What is emancipate? The freedom of who? We're going to look that up too, because I got the book. We got the receipts, baby. They wrote the 13th Amendment to free your ancestors, whom this government wrote this. This is the U.S. Constitution. They wrote it. Why were they freeing people that they didn't? Y'all claim they never enslaved. And why did they have to pass an amendment to their Constitution to recognize it? They didn't even recognize it, the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. That's when it first passed. When they so-called freed your people. Why did Lincoln do it? They were on, look at the backdrop. They were on their way to war. Section 2. Let's read this. Neither slavery, Section 1, the 13th Amendment. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude. Neither, listen to the language, slavery. Why are they talking about slaves? Slavery, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude. We were enslaved, and them Irish people, all them people, anybody other than the Negro, they were under involuntary servitude because they want to move to the new world. So they sold themselves, and guess what? After that, they were let go. But the Negro wasn't. That's a fact. Hi. Welcome. They say, Rylin. Peace and blessings. Welcome to the chat. Just sharing some information and how we can kind of free ourselves from being entangled with all this chaos and confusion, because the Most High is not the author of confusion. So when the people speaking about reparations, I want us to understand before we even get there, we need to come together as a people. That's even dealing with the reparations. If you want to twist the government arm to force them to do what you want them to do, you have to be able to lobby them with big money. And how do you lobby them with big money? You have to own and operate things. We've been led to think that, if we just vote, why? Because we are a upright people. And if the majority vote, that's what we're going to allow to happen. We're not going to have no hidden agenda where we got, now we got to see what the electors say. I thought the populace vote chooses. This is a democratic process, right? It's supposed to be a democratic nation, a government for the people and by the people, but it sure doesn't act like it. It acts like a republic. Whoever put the money up, that's who own it and control it. So if black people don't learn to put the money up to lobby these people to pass bills, you get them a check, you get them a piece of paper. The mafia shows you. Same people run the politics now. I don't care what they got to say. I grew up watching mafia movies because I watched the Jewish people, the Italian people, and Irish people, and other like British people in there run governments, run institutions the crooked way. You know what I'm saying? Not so much crooked, but I didn't want to deal with the system. We can buy it off. But that the language in your amendment, which is written in the Constitution, reflects that you own these people. This government today. That's why you have the descendants of the Negroes that's here today, which is a biblical thing. I look at it from a biblical perspective. Genesis 15, all day, every day. Read it. Verse 13 through 15. 400 years, you're going to serve a strange people. These people ain't our brothers. They are our forefathers. All our forefathers come from Noah. But then remember the Most High divided the nations. He gave you a land according to Noah's children, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. So I'm not going by what everybody, are we all God's people? Well, that's cool. But no, because everybody wasn't created by the Most High. There's some people that can be destroyed under the natural elements of the sun. And you mean tell me them the same people the Most High created in his image and likeness? We have an ecosystem just like us, plants, the trees. Don't you see all that melanin, juicy melanin in that thing? That's the I am in us. We are God's natural children. We don't need no conversion, but you got a group of them that I don't see none of that natural in them. And they trying to give you instruction on how to do something. Why? Because that's their system. And yes, they're going to support their own because that's who doing business. These are businesses providing services for this government to operate. So you can't get mad at them. You got to do the same thing or get out the way. You can vote all day. We can cry about they didn't do A, B, C, and D. That's a fact. But how do we get their ass back? You got to own them. And how you own them, you grow in who you are. Become one nation. Gather as many of us together and love one another and build our nation, and at the same time build our finances and go to work, because we got to provide for this nation. Ain't no government that put you in the situation gonna open the door to bring you out. That's just not how that's gonna go, family. Yeah, keep the pressure on their ass, but to add even more pressure, like Dr. Claude Anderson said, you have to own and operate your own. And how you do business with a politician, you buy them. You talking about voting, man? Stop playing. Do the Asians go vote like we do? Yes, we're a voter block, but we don't know how to play the game even as a voter block. Why? Because we have no cohesion. We have no unison. We have nothing that binds us together because we follow in the world. When we're the children of the Most High, love should bring you together. And the desire in that love to want for your brother or sister even more than you want for yourself. That's what the Most High teach us. That's not what we getting from the system. So I understand the anger. But how you defeat that is to come together. What they attempted to do when we were enslaved, they literally beat certain things out of us. You were beat. That psychological trauma carries genetically because you're dealing with vibration. That leaves a lasting effect on a person. If your dad whooped your ass at some point in your life when you decided to try and do what led to you getting your ass spanked, you didn't do it because it was a constant reminder that pain. Now, some of us did it. Some of us, our threshold for pain is, Lord, we still trying to figure it out. It ain't make no sense how many whoopings I got. I should have learned the first time. But that's how we built like that, family. Why? Because this is what your ancestors, this is what your nation, this is your footprint across the earth. No matter where you come from, they go do the research. Follow the DNA footprints. You know where you came. You the only people scattered. You the only people the Bible talking about as far as his people, scattered people that he's gonna bring back. But you have to prepare yourself. And you got to up the game, fam. You got to own and operate. And those who don't own and operate, those who do, you got to gather them, bring them in, employ them. And that will keep our money within our group. And they can enriching who's all doing business, which we need to put at the forefront. That's all I want to share, though. You have to own and operate your own business. Then you go and lobby the government. You send them up there with a check. Watch the mafia movies, man. They showed you this. You send them fuckers up there with a check and they gonna go do business for you. This nation is a republic. It is built off business. It was business. It was a contract that was written up by the Pope and the Queen of Spain. Why? Queen of Spain. Because she controlled the Americas. They controlled the Americas. They wrote a contract to Asiento. This is how they brought us here. All that didn't migrate over here. Why did they migrate? Because they were being persecuted by these Europeans. Your people was in Europe. Ruling. Look it up. Look it up. Early Negro rulers of Europe. Look it up. Negroes with crowns. All those coat of arms we see, them real Negro people. This wasn't no 50,000 years ago. Stop letting them play with your head. This is recent. This is recent. The Pope is now in this age. That nigga signed the Asiento. Asiento. That is a contract to supply slaves to the Spanish crown to build these lands we are over in here in today in the Americas, North America, Central America, and South America. They wrote that contract. Look it up. The Asiento. Asiento. And look up the Papal Bulls. We know where the order came from. Then we see where the vassal states of this Babylonian Empire, which are European nation states, All of them were given contracts at a certain time by the Spaniards to provide a certain amount of enslaved African Hebrews to come and build this nation. Yeah, that's a fact. And in this Constitution, voila, when they broke away from the crown and decided to take over this nation, Declaration of Independence is what they wrote, declaring their independence from the crown, from Europe. They wrote their Constitution too. And they told you what they did with the enslaved population. They fought for them to control that. Slavery made these nation states of America rich. They not nation states, but states. Washington is a nation state. But think about it, family. So yeah, they owe us. They owe you. But how do you go about getting it? Yeah, remind their ass every time you see them somewhere. I would ask them, what's the hold up? You giving, and people talking about why the fuck is we giving the Jewish people reparations? Negroes didn't do. Matter of fact, didn't they exterminate some of our people over in Germany at the same time? Have you ever did the research or even heard about that? So I don't want to hear nothing just about one side. If you're gonna tell a story, tell the whole damn story. You've been killing and murdering our people from day one, doing all kind of tests. So hell yeah, you owe. The fuck? And whether they pay or not, black people got to come to the conclusion. You have to own and operate your own business. That's the only way you're gonna solidify power. Stop playing games. Anyway, shalom, peace, and blessings. Be encouraged. This system crumbling. For why? Because the earth is mourning for the sons of God to come forth. The earth is tired of them. They don't do nothing but take. They not replenishing. The Most High gave us a law for planting and harvesting. I mean, yeah, planting and reaping. There's a law that operates. 6 years you work the land, and in the 7th you give it rest. They just want constant. Look how they raping Africa. They don't give it a chance to rest. But that's the land of milk and honey. That's part of your Garden of Eden. They'll never deplete the wealth that the Most High, the wealth of the natural resources. That's the Most High money. You know, them his resources, that's his money. They'll never deplete it. We'll be gone before that's depleted. Y'all better wake up. Shalom, family. This phone tweaking. Y'all don't want me to